Now let us study about the part of the tooth. The part of the tooth that you can see is called the crown. This part of the tooth which you can see, you can touch your tooth and see this part of the tooth which you can touch, which is outside the jawbone, is called the crown. But there is a big part that you cannot see which lies inside the bone of the jaw, is called the root. But there is a big part, this part of the teeth is called the tooth is called the root, which lies inside and it fixes it to the jawbone. This is not visible outside. This is present inside the jawbone. A tooth may have 1, 2, 3 or more roots. Usually the incisors, canines and premolars have one root, while the molars have at least 2 roots. Incisors, canines and premolars have one root, while the molars have 2 roots. Between the root and the crown is a small part called the neck. See, between the crown and the root, there is a small part. The small part is called the neck. This part of the tooth is called neck. The crown is used for biting, crushing and chewing the food. This part of the tooth which is visible outside, what is the function of this part of the tooth? This part of the tooth is used for biting, crushing and chewing the food. When you see the crown, you will see a hard shiny substance called the enamel, which is the hardest substance in the body. Now when you see the tooth, you can see your tooth. You stand in front of a mirror and see your tooth very carefully. You see your tooth is very shiny. The teeth looks very shiny. This is due to the presence of a hard substance which is called the enamel. It is the hardest known substance in the body. Under the enamel is a hard bone-like substance called the dentine, which makes up the most of the tooth, including the root. Inside the enamel, you see this is called the dentine. This part is called the dentine, which makes the most part of the tooth, which makes up most part of the tooth, including the root. Inside the dentine is something soft and flesh-like called the pulp. It has blood vessels and nerves in it. So inside the dentine, this part is called the pulp. It has nerves and blood vessels in it. This part is called the pulp. It has nerves and blood vessels in it. Thank you.